everybody. We're just waiting for some people to get on, and I'm gonna get the Facebook Live set up at the same time. But while we are waiting and getting the second live version going at the same time, if you have any requests for poses tonight, feel free to type them in and I'll see them pop up before we get started. If you know you like to have a blanket for Shavasana, feel free to go get that. Get a cup of tea, get some water. We've been joking that Harry Potter books or other large tomes are good for blocks at home, so feel free to grab something like that should you need it. And hopefully I can simultaneously get Facebook Live going, so depending where people are tuning in. Let's see. Share to a page. Anybody have any requests in there? Hi all. It is not showing up. And I have cats that'll probably be milling about during class, so unlike when we're in Zoom chats doing some of these teachings recently, we get to see other people's animals as well. So if you're all practicing amongst critters, we're all in this together, right? I hope everybody is doing well in these different times, right? And managing some space to breathe. And so I appreciate you guys checking in with us tonight. As I'm getting Facebook going, just a reminder, donations for class can be made via Venmo or PayPal to Roots to Rise directly. As you know, all of your donations help keep all of our classes going in all of our rec centers and shelters and other locations throughout the city. Live video. Well, hopefully we can get on Facebook too, but it's not happening. Give me 1 second, guys. I'm just going to pause this so I can text Andre right quick. Sorry, guys. I'm working out some technical difficulties with the Facebook. I know some people aren't on Instagram, so they're logging in there, but it's not letting me get started. But otherwise, it'll just be for the Instagram world. Such is the nature of figuring out these online teaching mediums, but get yourself comfy while you're waiting. We'll get started in a few moments. Whether you want to start out laying in a Shavasana type pose, or feel free to come to a child's pose if that would feel good. I think that's where we're eventually going to meet to start class, so if that's where you want to go and get set up, feel free to get yourself there. Legs can be wide or together. Let the hips be heavy on the heels. Alright, Facebook, I'll give you one more try. Hi Alan, how are you? And if anybody has, I know some new people are joining, if you have any requests for class, feel free to type them in. No. Let me check one more time with Andre. Just going to pause you guys for 1 second. I'll be right back. All right, so we're going to get started. Let me... Instagram only. Alrighty, so we're going to start in a child's pose tonight. So like I said, you can have knees together or knees apart. Go ahead and press your weight back into your hips. Let your forehead find the mat. If your forehead is not reaching down to the ground, you can always put your arms together and make a pillow for your head to rest on. Right? Let your hips be heavy. Let your breath deepen. Feel your spine expand. Feel the back of your heart open up behind those shoulder blades. Right? And find your breath. Hopefully this can be a space of quiet for you amidst some of this recent noise and perhaps chaos, worry, uncertainty, right? But knowing that we always have the wisdom of our body, we always have the tool of our breath to come back to. Right, so at least for this next 50 minutes, let yourself be grounded and centered. Feel the breath expand. Let the rib cage expand left and right, not only in and out. Let each exhale sink your belly deeper onto your thighs. If you want to stretch out your arms in any way, maybe fingertips reach out in front and you tent into those fingers, or maybe you like to take the prayer hands over top of the head and let them come behind the neck. See what might feel good to you, and 2 more full deep breaths in your child's pose. Full deep breath in, full exhale out. And on the inhale, you can rise up, come on up to hands and knees, and just make some hip circles. Right, loosen things out. Open up shoulders, open up hips, knees. You know, there's been some jokes that people with dogs have been walking all day long because it's the one thing to do, but if you don't have a dog and you've been Netflixing all day, let yourself loosen up, get things moving around. Reverse directions of those circles if you haven't already. And then go ahead and come back up to all fours. Press back through the ball of the right foot and just pulse a few times, opening up in that right leg. And then lift that right leg hip height. Right, you're not cranking the leg up. Keep the spine nice and level. And take that foot behind the left heel, gaze over that left shoulder. Shadow is coming to class. Open up the side body. And then lift that leg back up, return that right knee down. And other side, pulse back through the ball of the left foot. And go ahead and lift up that left leg hip height. Take a moment, draw that navel in towards the spine. Give yourself some steadiness. Take that leg across behind the right heel. Look over right shoulder. Stretch and breathe. Take that leg back up. Release that knee down. And one more time, press back, child's pose just for a moment. Hips are heavy, breath is full. Ripple your way back up. We're going to come around to a comfortable seat. So swing those legs out in front. Anywhere that feels good for those knees and hips. If you want to sit up on a pillow, feel free. Or a blanket if you have one. You can always have legs outstretched, knees can be bent, somewhere where the spine can be nice and tall. Close your eyes. Take the hands onto the ground. outside your hips so that you can literally ground your senses, right? Taking your sensation out of your mind, down your arms, into your hands, touching the earth beneath you. Pull that mental chatter down through your body. Feel your breath move up and down. Right? Sometimes our minds are racing 1,000,000 miles a minute and we're not embodied at all, right? Let's get back in our body. Feel our body. Feel your sits bones on the ground. Feel where your thighs or legs are touching the earth. Engage your senses. Feel the air on your skin or the clothing on your skin. Hear your breath as it moves in and out the nostrils. And then we'll join our hands together at the heart, perhaps setting an intention, something you'd like to focus on, be it a person, an idea, an energy you would like to cultivate. Just take a moment here. And then inhale, those arms can come up. Exhale, open it out. Inhale, gaze to those thumbs. Exhale, hands to heart. Inhale up. And exhale out. Inhale up. And this time on the exhale, twist to the right. So right hand comes behind you. Full deep breath. Keep the collarbones broad, right, so that shoulders not twisting around. Nice open space in the front of the chest. Each inhale lengthens the spine. Exhale, maybe twist a bit more. And then inhale up through center. And exhale, twist to the right, to the left, I'm sorry. Right hand finds that left leg. Open up across the collarbones. Nice tall spine. Full breath in the belly. See if you can feel into that right hip and draw it down. Sometimes we're going to lift it up for the twist. Ground down equally through both hips. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, twist. Inhale, back up. Exhale, hands can come down in front of you. Go ahead and roll back onto those knees. And we're going to tuck the toes and lift the hips and find our first downward facing dog. So really gentle, bending one knee deeply, bend the other knee deeply. Maybe bending both knees and letting the belly come towards the thighs. See what you need. You can inhale up on the toes and drop the heels to the right. And inhale on the toes and drop the heels to the left. Anything that would feel good. Get into your dog. Shake your head out yes and no a little bit. And then we'll move with our breath a few times. Inhale, ripple forward to a high plank. Right away, lower those knees down. Exhale, child's pose. Inhale, rise all fours. Exhale, tuck toes, lift hips, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward. You can stay in high plank or knees can come down, your choice. Then eventually lowering, knees press back, child's pose. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down dog. So moving with your breath. If you want to amp it up and flow forward to your high plank and hold that, and then exhale back into your down dogs, then you want to skip the child's pose, that is an option, right? See what your body needs. You're going to move with your breath. Take a few more rounds wherever you are. Uniting movement with breath. And eventually we will meet in our downward facing dog. Take your time to get there. And when you're there, let those heels reach towards the mat. Lift those hips high. Again, check in with the face, jaw, neck. Let it go. And then very slowly walk your feet towards your hands. And let yourself hang. Maybe the feet come a little wider than the hips. Sway it out. Shake that head, yes and no. Find your breath. Right, big, deep inhale, and you can exhale, let it go. Right, sigh it all out. And then bending the knees, tucking the chin, slowly rolling and stacking those vertebrae one at a time. We'll find our way to Tadasana. Lift the toes, maybe let them come down one at a time. Lift up in the kneecaps. Roll the shoulders up, back, and down. And then inhale, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, fingertips or shins, flatten the spine. Hold here. Reach from the tailbone through the crown. Long spine. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Full sun salutation now. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step back left, followed by right. Hold plank for a second, and then lower all the way to the belly. Inhale, find your baby cobra. Just a little opening of that heart. Keep the chin tucked. Exhale, over the knees, downward facing dog. Find your breath. Inhale, high on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, step the right foot followed by the left. Hang over the legs. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. One more like that. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway, hold again. Lengthen the spine. Press down into those heels. Press back through tailbone. Reach through crown. Exhale, fold right foot back, then left. Lower down. Inhale, find your cobra. Exhale, find your down dog. Find your breath. Full breath in, full breath out. Inhale, high on the toes. Bend the knees, this time left, followed by right, and fold over those legs. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Good, find that Tadasana again. Lift the heart into the thumbs. Roll the shoulders away from the ears. Inhale, rise. Exhale, fly forward. This time, open the shoulders. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, your choice. Step or hop your way back. Find a plank and hold. Open the fingers wide. Press through the heels. Lift up through the navel. You can always lower the knees when you need to. And exhale in one piece, nice and slow, coming all the way to the belly. Untuck those toes, flatten out the feet. Hands are nice and wide under the shoulders, elbows hug in. Inhale, curl up, cobra. Exhale, curl down. Forehead finds the earth. Elbows in, inhale, rise, open that heart. Exhale, lower. Inhale, rise. Exhale, lower. Moving with your breath one more time. Inhale, roll up, hold. Keep the chin tucked, right? You're not cranking the neck up. Fingers are wide. Draw that navel up and in. Feel the engagement in the low belly. Roll over the knees. Tuck the toes. Lift the hips. Downward dog. Let that head hang. Keeping the hips level, keeping the shoulders level. See if nothing else can move. Lift that right leg up. Only hip height. Keep the back nice and square. And then bend that knee. Draw it forward between the hands. Let that back knee come down. Take a moment here. Breathe into the front of that left hip. Draw that navel in, support the low belly, and then hook the thumbs, press into that front foot, rise up, open the heart, keep that deep lunge in the front leg, feel the front of that left hip flexor. Exhale, open the hands, frame out that right foot, tuck those back toes, slip back to your downward facing dog. Full breath. Again, shoulders stay steady, hips stay steady. Left foot lifts, toes point down, press through that heel. Bend that knee, draw it forward. Let that right knee come down. Pause here, find your low lunge. Left knee over left ankle, adjust the foot if you need to. Draw that low belly into the navel. And then pressing into that front foot, hook the thumbs, lift up. Make space in the ribs, make space away from those hips, lengthen the torso. Find your breath. Open those arms, frame out that foot, tuck the back toes, slip back, downward facing dog. Inhale, forward, high plank. Hold, fingers are open, heels press back. Lower the knees down, walk the hands back, come to stand on the shins. Hands are going to come to the low back, squeeze those elbows in, lift the heart. Little baby camel, Ustrasana. Another full breath here. And release those hands down. Take that right foot out to the side. Make sure the toes are pointing forward and then press back towards a child's pose and lift up. Stretch out that inner right thigh. Move with your breath. And then draw that right leg back in. Rise on up onto those shins. Hands point down. Lift the heart. Ustrasana. Next, exhale, rolls you forward. Hands catch the earth. Left foot comes out now. Toes point forward. Pulsing back and forth. Stretching into that left inner thigh. You decide how far you want to go. And let that left knee come back. One more time, rise up. Hands together. You can tuck those toes. Maybe one hand reaches back for a heel. Bring that hand back. Try the other hand. If you want, maybe both hands come back. Lift the heart. Otherwise, hands can stay right on the low back. One more breath wherever you are. If the hands are on the heels, draw them back up. Gently unwind. Hands come down to the mat. We're going to lower down chest and chin, that little awkward inchworm, Ashta Pranam. Slither forward, find your cobra. Exhale, downward facing dog. Reconnect to your breath. Inhale, high on the toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward. Either step or hop between the hands. Lift the gaze when you get there. Exhale, fold. Inhale, sweep out and up. Exhale, hands to heart. Find your alignment, find your Tadasana. Ground down through those heels, lift up through the kneecaps, roll the shoulders, arms rise, inhale. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, left foot steps back. High lunge this time. Same thing we did on the other side. Hook those thumbs, rise up. Open the heart. Full breath. Pressing into that front foot. And then let yourself come upright and reach over to the right. So stretching through those left ribs. You can maybe even interlace the fingers around that left wrist and give it a little pull. And back up to center. Frame out that right foot. Hop that back foot in a little bit. Pyramid pose, stretching into that right hamstring. Up on fingertips. Right, lift the heart. If the hamstring needs a little softness, bend that knee a little bit. And then hop that left foot forward to meet the right. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Full breath. Other side. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive forward. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, right foot back. Find your alignment. Stay in the ball of that back foot. Hook the thumbs. Rise up. Openness in the hips. Press through that right heel. Press into that left big toe mound for steadiness. And then reaching up and over to the left. Maybe encircling the right wrist with those left fingers. And coming back upright. Framing out that left foot. Hopping the right foot in a little bit. Feet are about 3 feet, maybe 4 feet apart. Reach over that left leg. Stretch that left hamstring. Keep the heart as lifted as you need to. Keep the spine long. And gently bend into that left leg. Right leg comes to meet it. Inhale, sweep up. Exhale, hands to heart. Take the feet a little wider than the hips. Go ahead and shake it out for a second. Let that go. Let the hips release before we do a little leg work here. Let the spine be soft. And come back to center and actually just give your arms a shake, right? Sometimes in all this tension lately, you can even shake your foot out. Pretend we're doing the hokey pokey. Let everything go. If there's any tension in your body, just let it go. Find your Tadasana again. Notice all that energy settling. This time bring the legs together. Sit the weight into the heels. Take the fingertips down and sweep it up. Utkatasana. Chair pose. Draw that navel in. Squeeze those thighs together. Imagine the inner thighs are rolling in towards each other. Hold. Maybe lift up the toes so the weight is really in those heels. Give them a little wiggle. And exhale, fold over those legs. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or hop your way back. Find your plank. Lower down through. Inhale, upward facing or cobra. Exhale, down dog. Find your breath. Inhale, right leg lifts. Draw it forward between the hands. Spin that back heel down. Rise up, warrior one. So find your alignment. Check out the back toe. It should be hitting about 10 or 11 o'clock. You're going to try to aim that left hip forward as much as you can. Then really bending into that right knee. The arms sweep up, the pinky fingers spin in. Lift the heart away from the ribs. And then that same thing we did in the lunge, but this time with the warrior feet. Hook that left wrist and reach up and over. It's a little bit of a different stretch in the leg when you're not on that back toe. Comes through a little different in the side body. And back up to center. Hands through heart center. Open up warrior two. So adjust your feet as you need to. Same bend in the right leg. Reach the fingers long. Shoulders are over the hips. Strong gaze over front fingers. Flip that front palm, reach it back, keep the bend in that front leg. And right away, cartwheel all the way down and around. Slip it back, find your down dog. You can stay here, you can move through your vinyasa before the other side. It's your choice, moving on your breath wherever you are. Lowering on the exhale, finding your back bend on the inhale. Exhale, down dog. That's where we'll meet. Full breath in. Sigh it out, full breath out. And that left leg will lift. Bend that knee, draw that foot forward, spin that right heel down. Now those toes are going to hit about 2 o'clock. Really press into the outer edge of that right foot. Now you're going to spin that right hip forward as much as you can. Bend into that left leg. Ribs lift away from the hips. Open that heart, spin those pinky fingers in. And then maybe encircle that right wrist with left fingers and reach up and over to the left. And back, up and through heart center. Open it out to warrior 2. Adjust your feet as you need to. Make sure that that knee is tracking over the second and third toes, right? So it's not dropping in. Protect the hips. Protect the knee joint. Shoulders are over those hips so you're not surfing forward. Lightness in the arms. Feel that front leg working. Flip the palm. Keep the bend in that front leg. Reach, reach, reach. And then exhale, cartwheel, hands down and around. Slip back to your down dog. Stay here. Move through your vinyasa or find a child's pose. Take what you need. Once you land in your down dog, 5 breaths there or child's. Full breath in. Full breath out. Another full breath in. Child's or down dog. Full breath out. We'll all meet in our down dog. If you were down in child's, come on back up. Take your time. Hips are high. Inhale, high on those toes. Exhale, bend the knees, gaze forward, step or hop forward between those hands. Lift the gaze. Exhale, fold. Wiggle the feet together. Fingertips touch the earth. Sweep it up. Utkatasana. Chair pose. Gaze over those knees. You should see the big toes. Sit those hips back even further. Exhale, hands to heart. Good. We're going to take our feet long on the mat. You decide how wide. If you want to go for your star pose alignment, open out your wrists. If your wrists are over your ankles, right, that's your alignment for your star. Draw that navel in. Tuck the tailbone just a little bit so that low back is nice and long. Hands are going to come to the hips first. Fold halfway. Same thing we did when we were hovering over those hands, but now you're hovering in air and space. Press back through tail, reach through crown, and then go ahead and let those hands come down. Hang over this wide leg ragdoll. Shake that head out. If your hamstrings are feeling open, you can turn your hands the opposite ways of your toes and walk them underneath. Maybe you like to hold onto the outer edges of both feet and give those elbows a little bend. Right, whatever's going to feel good here. Take a breath. And if your hands are on the feet or if they're underneath, go ahead and bring them back underneath the face. Let the left hand come directly underneath the face. Right hand comes to right hip. Don't let the hips move. Spin and twist to the right, but from the belly button up. Right, so the hips do not come along for the ride. Flatten out that low back, twist to the right, right arm rises. Full breath in. You can gaze at the earth if it's too much on the neck to look up to that thumb. Same reaching from tail to crown. Spine is long even though it's twisting. Full breath, wring everything out. Exhale, right hand comes down, replaces the left. This time, left hand to left hip. Do not let that hip move. Twist from the navel up, up, up towards the neck. Then with a flat, even back, that left arm can lift. Gaze can come down to the earth or up to that thumb. Find your breath. Exhale, release that left hand down. Hands to hips, come on up. Tilt those heels in, toes out. Draw the feet a little closer together. We're going to do a few squats for the legs. Knees are going to go out towards the pinky toes, right? So they're not coming in towards midline. You can squat down and come up. Hands can stay on the hips for support. If you want a little more reach, arms can come up as you move. Exhale takes you down. Inhale, rise. Exhale, down. Inhale, rise. Next time you come down, those hands can come onto the thighs, out to the knees, twist in one shoulder, and then the other, press open through those inner thighs, get some space in those hips. And then rise up, toes come back forward. You're going to turn those right toes out. Open the arms, reach those right fingers over, tilt down, triangle pose. Hand can find a shin, the earth, wherever you like it to be, but a light weight in that hand, right? So maybe play with taking your weight off of those fingers, off of that hand. See how much engagement that takes in the torso. Find your breath. Again, find a gaze that's comfortable for the neck. If you want a little more in the core, maybe both arms reach out like you're holding a big exercise ball, but keep those ribs twisting under. And then wherever you are, float your way up. Right toes come back forward. Left toes are going to come out. Reach to the left and tilt down. Trikonasana this side. Again, if you're sinking into that hand, see if you can lift some weight up and out of it, right? Make space in those shoulders. Find your breath. Those left ribs are spinning under. If you want a little more, both hands can reach forward, right? As long as you don't take that spin out. Still twist over, open, and then rise on up. Left toes come in. This time we're going to take the arms behind us, open the heart, open those shoulders, and exhale, fold over Prasarita with the hand mudra. Maybe hands are staying towards the low back. Maybe they're lifting off the back. Breathe. Full deep breath in. Relax any tension in the jaw. And then let those hands come on down. You can sway from one side of the mat to the other. Make some space in the low back. And then hands to the hips from center. Rise on up. And go ahead and come back to the front of your mat. Find your Tadasana. Full breath in. Full breath out. We're going to go ahead and lift the right knee. Lift the arms up. And hinging at the hips. Kick back through that right heel. Find warrior three. Right, so we're not opening the hips up. Keep that hip square down. Hands can come to the hips. Hands can find heart center. They can come behind you or they can be out in front. So find something that works for your warrior three. Full breath. And if you fall out of it, come back in. And then slowly, like a pendulum, swing it back up. That right knee is lifted. Hands can come down to the hips. Extend that heel. Maybe keep the heel out. Give a little work in that hip flexor. And then shake out that right leg. And we'll do the other side. So find your nice grounded feet. Inhale, left knee is going to lift. Right, so imagine that pendulum at the hips. You're tilting forward so both hip points stay pointing down. Find the arm variation you like. That left shoulder is going to stay spinning down as well. And breathe. And then hinging at the hips, find that pendulum, knee comes up. Maybe the heel a few times. Maybe you hold. Hands can come down to the hips. Work that left hip flexor. And shake it out, let it go. Find Tadasana. Inhale, rise. Exhale, dive. Inhale, halfway. Exhale, step or float your way back. Lower down through. Inhale, find your cobra or your up dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Release the neck, hips are high. Inhale, right leg lifts. Go ahead and open that hip now, open that knee out, make some circles. Keep the shoulders nice and level though, right? You're opening the hips, but you're not cranking the shoulders open. Keep that upper back flat. And then re-straighten that right leg. Draw that foot forward, but outside the right hand. So lizard lunge. You can stay right here. Maybe that back knee wants to come down. Maybe you want to roll onto the outer edge of that right foot. Maybe you want to come on down to forearms. Right? See where you want to be. Where you can hold your breath for a little bit. And breathe. Right? So find somewhere where you're at that edge. Right? But you can breathe into it. There's space, but not pain. And let the breath be full. Right? Imagine those hips softening, relaxing. 2 more breaths on this side, wherever you are. And if you had rolled onto the outer edge of that foot, maybe you stay there and maybe you open that right arm up. Right? If you have the foot down, go ahead and roll out. Maybe you want to take this little open face twist. And then exhale, reframe that right foot, tuck those back toes. Release however you need to. Right? Maybe it's some hip circles. Maybe it's flowing through a vinyasa. And if you have space in your house and you want to open up and flip your dog, right? Take what you need and we will meet in down dog for the other side in a moment. Notice the difference between the 2 sides. And come back to your down dog when you're ready. Press to those shoulders evenly. Lift that left leg. Bend open that left hip. Make those circles, but keep those shoulders level, right? That left shoulder wants to lift up. Keep those shoulders nice and flat. Make that space in the left hip. And then re-straighten that left leg. Draw it forward outside that left hand. And find your variation, right? Staying up on the hands is an option with that knee lifted, rolling out onto the foot, knee can come down, wherever you need to be. And each side might be different. And so see that, honor that. In these times of tension, our hips might be a little tighter than usual. So go easy, go with deep breath. Imagine those hips softening, opening, releasing. 2 more breaths on this side. You can rise on back up to the hands. If that foot had not rolled out to the left and you'd like it to, and you'd like to lift that left arm, sort of open things up, feel free. Otherwise, whenever you need to, you release out of it, you tuck those back toes, you find the way you need to release, whether it's flipping your dog or taking a child, flowing through a vinyasa. Let those hips release. Eventually, we will meet in a downward facing dog. Take your time. So from our down dog, we're going to go ahead and lower our knees down. We're going to lower our elbows down. Make sure your elbows stay shoulder width distance. So if you want to actually hold on to the elbows for a second with opposite hands and then place the hands back out in front. And they can either be clasped or you can have them with open palms. And we are going to tuck the toes and lift the hips and come to dolphin pose. So maybe walk those toes a little closer towards the elbows. The elbows are going to want to start slipping out, right? You've got to draw them back in to keep them parallel. Get a nice stretch in those shoulders. The further the toes come up towards the elbows, the more you'll start to feel the weight of the hips come over those shoulders. Just see into that. Lift up onto those tippy toes and then walk the feet back. Knees come down. Release it back, child's pose. Let the hands come down by the sides of the heels. Let those shoulders relax. Shake from side to side a little bit or rock and roll. Release out any tension on that forehead. And then holding on to the heels, rise on up onto the crown of the head, rabbit pose. Stretch out those shoulders. Give a little tap to the crown of the head. And release back. Unwind. And go ahead and roll on. Slip those legs in front and roll onto your back. And just take a moment. Hands can be on the belly or the heart or down by the sides. And just feel your breath in the back of the body now. Feel the back of the heart breathing into the earth. The belly rises and falls. Let yourself settle. See where all of those postures you just flowed through are landing. And taking the feet, make sure they're hip width distance. They're right underneath those knees. The knees are going to stay center. They're not going to flare out. Hands are going to come down by the sides. Press into those heels. Really curl the tailbone first and ripple up through the spine. And exhale, roll it down. Just a few times before we find our bridge. Inhale, press that low back in. Roll up onto the ribs. Roll up onto the shoulders. Exhale, unwind. Shoulders, mid-back, tailbone curls down last. One more time with breath. Inhale, lift into your bridge. Exhale, unwind. You can stay here and keep moving with breath like that. Or next time you inhale, you can hold your bridge, really press into those heels, lift that heart, keep the chin tucked. If you have the space, maybe you roll the shoulders together underneath you, clasp those hands, breathe into your bridge, Setu Bandhasana, heart opener. Knees are straight out in front of those hips. You can release the hands, unroll the shoulders, gently unwind the back. If you're still moving with breath, feel free to stay right there. Another option if you're moving with breath is as you inhale, arms can lift and touch the ground overhead, and exhale, arms come by the hips. So staying with that breathing motion, inhaling and lowering, otherwise coming up again for a bridge to hold. Inhale, roll up, keep hips lifted. Your choice if you want to interlace hands or not. Really lifting that sternum area towards that tucked chin. Exhale, gently unroll. Take the feet a little wider and let the knees drop in on each other. Take the arms out to cactus or goalpost, bending at the elbows. So the chest is open, but the low back is having some space as those knees drop in. You can keep the arms there in cactus, otherwise they can come down by the sides, lift both legs skyward, and circle out those ankles. Let some of that blood flow come on down. Take the feet together like you're gluing the entire legs together in one unit. Point the toes and make some circles with that unit of legs. Right? Roll out the low back. The larger you make these circles, the more those toes come over the face and the more those toes drop back. You'll get a little bit of tapping into the core. You'll start to rub on the outside of those hips, giving yourself a little massage. And then reverse directions. You can also keep these circles very, very small and just give that low back a little circular press. Right? But the larger you make the circles, the more you will also rub onto the outer edges of those hips. It's up to you. You can try both. And then eventually hugging those knees into the chest. You can circle out that way if that would feel good. And then like you're sitting in a chair, everything's at a 90-degree angle, arms come out to a T. We're going to drop the knees over to the right. And we're going to let that left hand come on over on top of the right hand. And then on the inhale, we're going to open that left hand, see if that left shoulder can find the ground behind you. Exhale, clamshell that hand closed. Inhale, open the heart, open the shoulders. Exhale, close the hands together. See as you do that, if you can keep the knees stacked, right? That left knee wants to sort of slide back. See if you can keep those knees glued together as you inhale and move. That'll keep more of a stretch in the torso. If you let that knee slide back, it takes that stretch away. So glue those knees together, keep them in that L shape over to the right. And then next time you open up with that left arm, you can stay over there. Maybe gaze over that left shoulder and breathe into the twist. Bring it all out. Let it go. Be with your body, be with your breath. And exhale, close the hand one more time. Roll everything back over to center. Find that L-shaped chair. Arms are out to a T. And then keeping those knees glued together, drop them over to the left. Take that right hand over as well. Keep that right knee glued to the left. This time, inhale, open. Exhale, closed. Inhale, open. Right, moving with your breath. Being sure that those knees stay glued together. We're not slipping that right knee back with us, so we keep that good stretch in the torso. And then next time that right hand opens, you can relax into the twist and breathe. Right, so notice how moving the body can get some of what's been stuck mentally out. Whether it's yoga or going for a run, dancing, whatever you need to do. Especially in these times, we have to move. We have to find quiet and come back into our body and release what it's holding. Exhale, hands come together. Inhale, come back into that ball. You can rock and roll your way up to sit. Otherwise, roll off to your side and swing those legs out in front of you. Little forward folding to soothe the nervous system before we come down to Shavasana. So legs out in front, press through those heels, hands come down by the hips. Maybe you stay right here. Maybe the arms come up. Maybe you lift through the heart and hips and make space in the spine as you come forward, wherever you want to be. Hands might be by the knees, They might be coming towards those heels. Maybe you're holding the feet. Lifting the heart all the way, keeping the spine long, and hinge at those hips and fold. Once you find that edge, the head can drop, right? But it's about keeping a long spine instead of a rounded spine. Full breath in to lengthen you up out of those hips even more. Feel what happens if you engage the kneecaps and give the quads a squeeze. You'll feel that engage the glutes and hamstrings. And inhale, release your way back. Soles of feet can come together. Knees out to the sides. Again, maybe staying upright right here, holding on to the feet. Maybe leaning forward, bending elbows, or maybe arms come out in front. Softening into Baddha Konasana, releasing into those hips. Slowly rise your way back up. Help those knees come together. Scoot your way forward on your mat so you have space behind you. Arms come up. Roll your way back and down. Bend the knees to the sky for a moment. One hand on the belly, one hand on the heart. Feel the breath. Feel it lifting the hands. Lowering the hands. And if it would feel good for your low back, you can keep the knees bent for Shavasana. If you want to continue with the hip opener, knees can come out to the side for Shavasana, or you can take traditional Shavasana with the legs long. If you need that grounding and comforting, if you did grab a blanket in the beginning of class, feel free to cover yourself or keep the hands on the belly and heart for that groundedness. Otherwise, hands can come by the sides. But let everything release. Let the feet soften and flop out. The muscles of the legs let go. The hips are heavy. The muscles along the spine are relaxed. The head is like a heavy bowling ball, right? You're not holding on to anything. It's just there. The shoulders are rolled open. Receptivity. Softening. And just let your body relax and integrate all those postures you just moved through. Knowing that each asana has a way to open our energy channels, to get things flowing in our body, to help us align, to help us breathe more deeply, to help all of our systems function better together. Let the breath slowly deepen, and keep your eyes closed if that's okay. Just feel the weight of your body on the earth. Feel the heaviness. And almost like you're a magnet that's just been drawn down. Attaching yourself beyond the floor that's beneath you, or whether you're in an apartment building or a house, but imagine the soft earth, the soil beneath you, wherever you are. Knowing that